A president or a monarch, leader of a superpower or a capricious ruler handing out favors to suit his mood. It's the first time in the US history that the president relies so heavily on a personal cult, one he's in fact helping to build. Trump's fans might love this royal type of presidency, but for other leaders across the world, it is a political headache. How to handle international politics with an unpredictable partner. Political leaders in Europe and indeed elsewhere are trying to find the manual on how to handle Mr. Trump. They try various ways with bigger or smaller success, but let's find out how they do it here in Europe. Joining me in the studio here in Control Room Brussels, Michał Wawrykiewicz, members of European Parliament. Michał Wawrykiewicz, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Tomáš Zdechovský, welcome. And Diego Solier.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Well, gentlemen, President Trump has just been through a serious public test, meaning State of the Union address, at the time when his approval rates are at a record low, frankly. Do you think he has passed the test?
We haven't heard much about Europe, for example. That was for me very important point of the State of the Union address. I haven't heard much about our threats, our problem with the war in Ukraine, in transnational relations.
It was much more on Venezuela or
Iran. Or internal affairs, which is of course justified because he has to talk about internal American affairs. But when it comes to Europe, when it comes to war, when it comes to the relations between Europe and the United States, which are completely different than they were in the past decades and centuries, I would like to know what American president intends to do in the next year.
So is it clear, in your opinion, that he doesn't basically care about Europe and the European Union?
Because we are not problematic part of his world. We are really partners. And I was last week in Washington.
Well, we are a bit, because we stand in the way of him getting a deal with Vladimir Putin.
He's every time talking too much, but I think sometimes needs to thinking about the things before he will blame someone, because Europe pay now everything for Ukraine. This is not USA. USA make the deals with Russia, deals with Ukraine, but we are predictable partner. And I think we have to say one thing. Last week in Washington, there was absolutely clear message. We are still partners. We need each other. And what the president is sometimes saying, you have to take him that after him, it will be really paradise in USA.
You don't trust President Trump, do you?
Before it was the hell. This is not about the trust. We knows him. He is every time.
Well, politics is about trust, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes really he is looking on himself as a god on this planet, and I think that if Jesus lives, he will not really come him to clean him his hands.
Right.
Also, I think that his really speech was too much for us, but it was much more focused to criticize Democrats.
It was the longest one, by the way. It was the longest one in his career.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, question to Diego. Do you think he has managed to sort of regain the momentum before the midterms?
So we need to understand that during the first Trump administration, Trump was following the rules, more or less. He didn't do many noise, you know. Obviously, now in this second term, that he's the president, from my point of view, he's doing what any one of us could do when we are defending our house. No? So we want to have a strong house. We want to protect our kids, our family, from any different thing that can come into our house and disrupt our regular life, our life, you know.
So, but you said he was following rules in the first, in his first term. Is it different now? And he's trying to break the rules?
I think, to be honest, he knows it's the last mandate. He knows that he wants to do things good for his country. We know his family is American first, you know, and this is what he's doing. He's trying to defend, as we need to do for Europe. So I'm not telling that is the correct or the bad way to do things, but he's defending America. We need to defend Europe.
Sure, right.
And
okay,
I think,
by the way, when he was asked about whether he would like to become president for the third time, he said, "Well, that sounds interesting." He didn't say no because the Constitution doesn't allow it.
Yeah, but at the end, he said we need to have a clear and calm approach with the United States under the President Trump. And the US is our ally, so we cannot go and start a fight with them because it should be our ally. And Europe
should be, yes.
Yeah, and Europe must stand on its own feet. We need to defend our interests as he's doing with the US.
Okay. Michał.
If I may add, I think that since January last year, we discovered that traditional way of presidency in the United States ceased to exist. We have more pop culture icon than the traditional president, and he wants to deliver his legacy to the world. That's for sure, no doubts. And he made it very clear that he doesn't want, the United States doesn't want to carry this burden of European security. No more.
The world's policeman.
Yes, and that made us fully aware that we need to take care of our defense.
It's normal. We cannot pretend that someone is keeping and securing our garden. So we need to keep and save our garden ourselves.
But it is still something new for us. We need to admit
we're getting used to it.
For the last 80 years, since the end of the Second World War, we had the United States as a world guardian, also European guardian, and now we need to take care of ourselves.
I'm not sure whether, Tomáš, you wanted to say something?
No, I want to say, tell you only one joke what I heard from one Republican congressman in the US. Why is President Trump so vocal and make so big noise? Because the Epstein files are open. Also, he needs to
cover up,
bring another agenda on the table.
We know in Spain about that because our president is doing the same. When it's something, he's putting into the table, something else is to move the attention.
And Orban also, or Fico also, this is the same code.
Gentlemen, just for the moment, let's look at not what President Trump is doing, but how he's doing it. In your opinion, is this a sort of new emerging political brand, or is this really a cult of some sort around Donald Trump that he would in fact be helping to build? Would you agree with that?
Well, he's trying to do that, definitely, to build his own cult. But I think that at the end of the day, of course, America is in the time of turbulence, that's for sure. And as I said, the traditional United States ceased to exist. I mean, the world based on international agreements, world based on the rule of law, protection of human rights in the United States ceased to exist. Now we have very brutal actions of ICE officers, and the government applauded it, actually. So this is something completely new for us, for Europeans, because we treat it.
Are we learning how to deal? I'm not sure whether you agree with the.
But what I wanted to finish, that at the end of the day, I believe that after these turbulences, the United States will still be the country of the rule of law, the country of democracy, and transatlantic relations with Europe.
By the way, at the recent Munich Security Conference, many democratic politicians were speaking to European politicians who were saying, just hang on, things will come back to normal, just wait for us.
Yeah, but let's see what will be the results of the election in Texas. After them, we can talk about...
You mean midterm election?
Also, it will be very, very important, and it will be the signal for American administrative. It's this presentation, cult presentation. It's something what the people really like, or they trust to real steps what American administrative or President Trump is doing.
I don't want to say if what they are doing in the US is right or not, because at the end, in every house, everyone has their own rules, and they will.
But we can judge them.
Yeah, of course. You have your opinion. We have
doing the right thing or not. Then how would you say?
To be honest, in these days in the US, I wouldn't say that maybe it's not everything as we are seeing in the media or in the movies, in the social media. So for me, the best indicator is going to be the midterms, and the midterms will let us know if they have the support of their country or not. You know, so this is the most important. And from my point of view, we need to understand that they are their own country with their own rules. That obviously we can have our opinion, but they want to rule now the country in this way. The population of the US will decide if this is the right way they want or not.
So the premise on which Donald Trump wants to base
and that's why, because they have a democracy.
European relationship is this. Let me just quote Mr. President Trump. A few months ago, he denounced Europe as a decaying group of nations led by weak people. Do you feel you're a weak politician that is leading your decaying nation?
To be honest,
of Spain.
Yeah, from my point of view, in Spain we have a leak politicians. We are not happy with what we have. Here in Europe, we have been.
So you agree with President Trump?
And somehow, yes.
A decaying nation of Spain?
Yes, totally.
With a weak politician?
Yes, totally. Yeah, I'm not. Maybe I'm not the real.
It's good to be self-critical.
Yeah. Because to be honest, I'm not coming from any political party, so I don't belong to any political party. I am independent within my country, and I not belong to anyone. And I can say that the last 15 years in Spain has been a nightmare for the Spaniards. Okay, and we need a change in the system.
Do you think it's a good political language of international cooperation?
No, the language you could say the same thing in a different way, maybe more correct, more like a polite way. But it is true that in Spain we have had a really bad governments in the last few years.
How to handle it all?
Well,
is this a headache, political headache for Europe still?
Yes, it is, of course, but we are learning very quickly, and maybe the most positive factor of what Trump is doing is that we woke up actually in Europe, and now we are absolutely crystal clear about the awareness of building our autonomy when it comes to defense, first of all, having the threats from Russia, from the east, and building our capability. Poland is the leader in that respect. We are spending almost 5% of GDP for defense, which is a good sign for the rest of the countries in Europe. Recently, 10 years ago, most of the countries spent less than 2% in Europe, or even 1%.
Including the Czech Republic, is it 0.96 or 98% of HDP also. It's really what you are saying, it's very crucial. We make jokes from Donald Trump because when you see him after all this election and what he's saying, how he's blaming the European Union, and sometimes he makes the Czechia and Chechnya and Sweden and Switzerland. Also, I think stay calm.
Right.
We will
These are very sober.
Yeah, we will survive him. And I think the administrative is working very good. We have it excellent exchange of views. We visited, of course, the FBI. FBI officer said we have it the great cooperation with European countries. Europe do excellent work on all levels. Also, the key partner for American security forces, it's Europe. And we have to repeat it because we will survive all these speeches of J.D. Vance on Munich conference or Donald Trump in Congress or everywhere.
Is the cult of Trump going to survive his presidency?
I don't think so. I think that the United States is, as a country, as an administration, is very stable in democratic terms in the long term, I think. That after Trump, this country will get back to more traditional way of operation with the president who is more politician than the pop culture icon.
Yeah, but there's still a long way to go. There's just first year of the presidency.
Yes, but we
3
have
years
the
is a long time in politics.
we have the midterm elections this year in November, and it will be the crucial moment for his presidency, for his term. We'll see what will happen in the United States. I think that he might lose these elections.
What then if he loses the elections?
I guess they will need to change the way they are doing politics. Okay, they may need to be back. They are not going to be back to the standards they were before with the Biden administration, but they will need to have more different approach when negotiating with different partners globally. And also, they may need to change what they are doing internally in the US, because at the end, are going to be the Americans deciding if as I said before, if the way they are doing this first year and 2 years is the way they like or not. And that's why, as you say, the democracy in the US is strong.
Sure.
And the Americans will decide for what is going to happen in the last part of the term.
So I can see some optimism in this
we are
conversation. But remember, there's 3 years to go. And just let me quote John Bolton, a former advisor to Donald Trump. People try to draw lines between the dots of his decisions. They will fail, basically.
I think this is the big wish that Donald Trump will be more successful president in the history of US. Many people from the Heritage Institute and Hudson Institute, there are 2 Republican institutes, were very optimistic how he will change his approach about Europe. But I see here, I see here in a Heritage Institute with this anti-Semitic presentation and speeches, and now they are weaker and weaker.
We already listened the other day, Marco Rubio, in his approach to Europe. He has changed already.
Absolutely.
He's now building or rebuilding the bridges with Europe. He was talking about his past coming from Spain, you know. So at the end, we have a history of success events happening and the support that we have been giving to them and then to us. So obviously, the relationship between the US and Europe are really strong, and we have a common roots that will be in the future also. So
one issue that I would like to add, if you are asking how to handle this situation, I think that we need to build and remember about our unity here in Europe. And we are much stronger as a community towards the United States. We might be competitive towards the United States as an economy, as a huge single market, the biggest single market in the world. And he's trying to divide us, of course, and he prefers to agree with certain countries on bilateral agreements, but we need to stay strong as a community and unity. So this is the recipe, in my opinion.
As I said at the beginning, so we need to be calm. We need to we need to know that the cards that we need to play in this game, and we need to put Europe in the middle of our decisions, of the EU decisions, in order to go and sit and negotiate with them. So at the end, we need to defend our interests in Europe.
Going back, yes.
I'm very
Thomas.
surprised that we can have it really so pleasant debate with the ECR member, because sometimes we see how the forces are divided in the European Parliament, but about our US and Europe relationship. We need to make bridges back. I think next year Rubio will find any chasm in Poland or in the Czech Republic also. Also, he will continue with his finding of family everywhere. He found it in Cuba. Also, he said that he has it very close contact to Venezuela. Also,
Right.
he is a great diplomat because great diplomats knows that he has
Okay.
it friends everywhere.
Getting closer to a conclusion, we're talking about a cult, a new type of presidency, a cult type of presidency. But even with that in mind, something apparently got stuck in a mechanism because if you look at the ratings, whatever the ratings are and whatever the source they come from, really most of the Americans don't think that the situation in the United States is good. So is this cult sort of losing its appeal and it will vanish with this presidency?
I think this is an episode in the United States history that will vanish, as you said, after his term, I think. And the most important issue is the surveillance of American democracy institutions, like, for example, the Supreme Court. Which was appointed in a majority by President Trump, but was
heavily attacked after the tariff decision and very mildly treated in the last State of the Union address.
When it comes to last decision, last verdict of the Supreme Court, they were courageous enough to say no to tariff policy.
Appointed by Trump.
Yeah.
Even those appointed by Trump.
Because the institution in democratic states are independent. And we have to say that you are not depending on someone who really put you on your post. And it shows that its function, and US is also a democratic country. And I think that we have to close it positively. We increase the relationship as European Union with democratic country, with Japan, with Taiwan, with Israel, and with many of them around us, and we are now much more cooperating together. India, there is the deal. Also, I hope so that it will open eyes someone in White House for next years.
So is Europe going to survive a president who says, I don't need any international law?
I think yes. At the end, as they say also, we are in a global world. At the end, we need to build relationship. We need them, they need us also. As we say, we are 450 million population in Europe. It's a strong market. We need to work internally. I think this administration that has raised a few things that we are now aware. We were aware, but now we are more aware of our weak points, and we need to work internally on those weak to be stronger in order to go and negotiate with other areas in a better position than we did in the past.
The old ways of doing politics through institutions and procedures and consensus are certainly undergoing a stress test globally. It remains to be seen if the new model of personal chemistry, as it were, will be anything more than just a one-season show. Michał Wawrykiewicz, Tomáš Zdechovský, Diego Solier, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us at the control room in Brussels at TVP World. See you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.